What's up everyone? Today I'm breaking down a really amazing case study that shows how Shopify brands that effectively implement the right media buying strategy but also a creative strategy can unlock absolutely massive growth. If you've been struggling to scale your brand or you feel like you aren't even sure if your ads are that profitable, this is probably the perfect example about how dialing in both aspects of your creative strategy and media buying strategy can lead to really great results. I'm going to show you how we helped this consumer packaged goods brand in the US achieve a 48% increase in sales with a 36% reduction in their cost per acquisition in just 6 months. On top of that, we also helped them generate an additional $300,000 in revenue while increasing their ad spend by just over 20%. I'll also walk you through the exact strategies we implemented and used so that you can apply them to your own brand. If you don't know who I am already, then my name is Philip. I'm a co-founder of AdPunch.co, and we're a performance creative and paid ads agency that specializes in working with direct-to-consumer brands in the US, Canada, UK and Ireland. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So to give you a little bit of context about this collaboration, in March of 2024, we started working with this CPG brand because they were feeling completely stuck. They've been working with another agency for the past 2 years and their growth had plateaued, so management couldn't get answers from their agency as to why. Their media buying strategy was really outdated and their campaigns weren't optimized, so their performance in the accounts reflected that. They knew themselves that they needed to switch up their approach, and if they were going to hit their targets, then that's where we would come in. Here's what we uncovered during our initial audit of their ad account. So first, their media buying strategy was just completely outdated. They were essentially recycling existing creatives and the same creatives over and over again with no fresh angles, no new concepts being tested from month to month. Second, their campaigns were really fragmented, so the ad account was just completely cluttered. It had a bunch of overlapping campaigns and audiences being tested, so it was basically impossible to actually track the performance and optimize effectively. Third, their targeting wasn't set up correctly. They had campaigns that were listed as top of funnel, but they were including past purchasers, they were including website visitors, and they were essentially burning money on retargeting and retention when they should have been primarily focused on prospecting for new customers. They also had major gaps in their creative strategy. They weren't testing any new angles, they weren't using video ads that were optimized for different placements, and on top of that, they weren't scaling effectively. They had winning creatives, but they were being tested in a bunch of different campaigns, and they weren't actually leveraging the post IDs of the original to build social proof. Finally, in the middle of funnel campaigns, they were really weak. They didn't address customer objections, and it was just leading to a lot of missed conversions. So all of these issues combined were really what was holding back the brand and not allowing them to grow their ad account, and their spend was just completely efficient. So here's how we turned things around. First, we simplified their campaign structure and we reorganized their account into 3 core campaigns. One for testing new creative angles, one for scaling winners using Meta's Advantage Shopping Plus campaign, and one for retargeting potential customers and just retaining them further down the funnel. Next, we refined their targeting. We excluded past purchasers and website visitors from their top of funnel campaigns so that we could completely focus on acquiring new customers. We also heavily focused on creative testing, especially in the initial 3 to 4 months. So every month we provided them with 15 new creatives where we tested them in the testing campaign so we could consistently find new winning concepts. With our creative, we actually made sure that we created creatives that resonated with their ICP's pain points and desires, as well as making sure that they were just appropriate creatives for marketing towards each level of customer awareness. We used post IDs to build social proof, and we scaled those winning creatives in our scaling campaign. We then ran a creative retrospective with the client at the end of every month so that we could outline what angles and what frameworks were performing, what creators we should continue working with, and how we could iterate on existing creatives to find more winners, and finally what was planned for our next batch of content. After that, we implemented a Google Ads strategy that focused both on customer acquisition and retention, and this just created a more balanced customer acquisition system as a whole for the brand. So how were the results? When we started working with this brand, their ad spend was at around $16,000 total per month, with 9K on Meta and 7K on Google. And by the end of our initial 6 months, we'd scaled their spend to 47K, with 35K on Meta and 12K on Google. The brand's revenue over this period increased by about 48% during what typically is considered their off-peak season for this niche. And we also brought down their CPA from $29 to $18, which is a 36% reduction. Their blended ROAS improved significantly, rising from 1.84x to a 3.02x, which is a 64% increase, and their new customer ROAS increased by 13%, even though we scaled their ad spend. These results didn't just validate our strategy, they provided a foundation for continued growth for this brand with us through Q4. So what are the big takeaways here? If you're running ads but you're not seeing the results you want, you need to take into account both your media buying strategy and your creative strategy, because if you do this, every aspect of your business will see the benefits. If you want to see how we can help you achieve these results, then book a free strategy session using the link in the description, and I'll go through your campaigns, review your ad account, highlight gaps in your performance and where you can improve. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more insights, and if you've got any challenges, drop them in the comments. I'd absolutely love to hear from you. Thank you very much for watching, and let's see you in the next one.